We're recording?
We are recording.
Okay, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The Protection of Policy Committee meeting for January 7th is now in session. It's 5:30 p.m. We are in City Hall Room 207. Our roll call is Alder Stevens present.
Here.
Is Alder Vanderleest present? Alder Stoyer.
Here.
And the chair, Alder Randy, is also here. Good, we're all here and accounted for. I'll take a motion to approve our agenda.
Approve the agenda.
So moved by Alder Vanderleest, seconded by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes for our November 26, 2018 Protection of Policy meeting.
So moved.
So moved by Alder Vanderleest, seconded by Alder Stoyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Our minutes from our past meeting are approved. On to regular business.
One moment, Alder. Scanlon, I'm just trying to
Okay.
catch up.
Yep. While you're catching up, I'm just
Yes.
going to make a small,
Okay, perfect.
I've got myself a reminder note here, because I often forget, that everything we do here at the committee level is just a recommendation to the council. The council has the final say, which will be next Tuesday,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, in the room right next door. So if you don't like our decision, you can always come Tuesday and appeal to the whole council.
Yep, we're good.
We're ready for regular business. Item number 1, discussion with possible action on general ordinance number 1-19. Is that a 1 or an I?
One.
That's a 1.
That's a 1-19. An ordinance creating section 29.513 Green Bay Municipal Code relating to leaving keys in a vehicle. Staff, why are we all keyed up on this?
So, this is a fairly self-explanatory ordinance. It basically prohibits a person from leaving keys in a vehicle that has been left unattended. It originated from the municipal prosecutor meeting with the police department, who wanted to use this ordinance as a tool to reduce the amount of auto thefts and the amount of resources that have been expended on investigating crimes of that nature. And I believe then Alderman Stoyer was also part of those discussions, submitted a communication to bring the ordinance forward, and here we are.
Huh. So what would be the penalties?
The penalty would be, because there isn't a specific penalty identified, 29.901 will control, which just establishes a general penalty of a forfeiture between $1 and $500.
$1 and $500. Having your car stolen isn't bad enough? Go ahead.
I was, with this, we had talked about this on a number of different issues and about it, and I'm just wondering, what are the statistics that are out there that the police shared, or, I can talk to the police as well,
Yeah.
as far as number of thefts that there have been over time, and just some of the issues that you're dealing with the force?
I can't give you any specific statistics right now. I'd have to go back and research it. But we do notice, well, besides this year, since we've been unseasonably warm, during our cold weather months, people will leave their keys in their vehicle when they run into a gas station or at home out in the driveway to warm up their vehicle. Someone comes by, takes the vehicle, literally almost uses it as a taxi cab. We normally get it back, but our resources when a vehicle is stolen, between having the officer arrive, having to take the report, enter everything into NCIC and CIB to classify it as a stolen vehicle, then when it's recovered, to go through the evidence processing on the vehicle to make sure it wasn't just someone wanting to get from point A to point B. It does tie up a lot of our resources. And we're not looking to want to, penalize people harshly that leave their keys in the vehicle. It's just a tool to let them know that, hey, please take your keys out of the vehicle. And it won't apply to people with remote starts or anything like that. It's mainly someone that runs into a gas station or a convenience store, leaves their keys in the vehicle with the car running, someone walks by, hops in and takes off.
Do you find that, the issue though, a lot of times folks will warm their car up in the morning when it's wintertime and they'll leave it in the driveway. You probably have done that already. So I'm just saying that's one of those things that would be covered by that as well.
Correct. And like I said, we're not looking to be punitive against people that do that. It's just to educate them on if they are going to do that, whether it's remote start or lock their car.
This doesn't
or
apply to private property.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Okay. All right, good,
Okay.
thank you. All right. All right, that's it. That's all I have.
Would that apply to police vehicles?
With our vehicles, I can tell you, under Chief Smith, we're under a directive now to not let our vehicles run. All of our new vehicles it's not the old school, it's a push button to start the car. So actually, the key would be still on the officer's person and not in the vehicle. And I believe a lot of makes of vehicles are like that, where the key remains on the person and not actually in the vehicle.
Okay.
One quick question.
Certainly.
Is this ordinance already in effect then right now?
Right now, no.
No. Okay.
No, this is, we have nothing like this on the books whatsoever, so this is brand new.
Do you feel it's a good tool to get the thing going as far as a deterrent as well?
I believe so. It's mainly to educate people, and by having this out there, it will help educate them to not leave their keys in their vehicle when it's running, or not that I want to promote remote starting, but do other measures so time and effort and essentially money is not tied up when 5 seconds of turning your car off or putting your keys in your pocket could literally save probably about 2 hours of officer work at the minimum. That's what we're looking at, to be more efficient as a police department, and also educating the public that it's not a good idea to leave your keys in the vehicle with it running.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Alder Vanderlee, second by Alder Steuer. Any further discussion on this? I'm sixes and sevens on it. I like the idea of educating the public, but do we need an ordinance to do that? I don't know. I guess for now, I'll go along. We got till Tuesday. I can mull this over and maybe get some public input. No one has contacted me on this, so I don't know how our public feels about this, so I'll support it for now. We have a motion by Alder Vanderlee, seconded by Alder Steuer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Gotta get back to the agenda.
Number 2.
Number 2. Consideration of possible action on a change of agent at PH Hospitality Group LLC at 859 Lombardi Avenue. Staff.
Staff has no objections.
Please concur.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Alder Steuer. Second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously.
Okay?
Item number 3, consideration of possible action, request by St. Brendan's Inn, 234 South Washington Street, to temporarily extend their licensed premise to hold outdoor events in their parking lot on March 10th, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., March 16th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and on March 17th, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Staff.
Staff, or law department will defer to PD on this item.
Our only question is, will there be security in that outdoor tent to make sure the drinking laws are followed?
Yep, motion open the floor so they
I'll
can.
make a motion.
Motion open the floor by Alder Steuer, second by Alder Vanderlee. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If you could just please step up, state your name and address, and also fill out a form. If you didn't get a chance to fill out a form, but you could do that. Yeah.
Here.
Okay.
Ashley Oates, 1525 Beauchamp Street.
And to.
The question?
Yes.
We hire a private security company. We keep 2 people indoors and then about 4 in our tent outside, carting and making sure that there's no issue with people leaving with alcohol or anything like that.
Same as last year, I'm assuming?
Same as last year, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, please have no objection.
I just wanted to know, how many years have you had this? type of event? these events?
I've been there for 12 years, so
It's all
about that time.
pretty consistent.
Yeah, yeah. St. Patty's Day and St. Baldrick's?
Correct.
Am I bushy enough?
You're getting there.
I might even go this year.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe.
Well, let it grow out, man.
I don't know if I.
Let your full freak on.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions then, or? Okay, motion to close the floor?
Motion to close the floor.
Second.
Motion by Alder Steuer, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor of closing the floor? Aye. Opposed? The floor is now closed. Motion approved by Alder Stevens. Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Item number 4.
One moment.
Okay. Gotta get back in the groove. I gotta slow down.
Just a tad.
Been a long time.
Yeah, that-
I missed everyone. So glad you're all here. Happy New Year.
Nobody's nodding, so it must be good.
Number 4.
Number 4, consideration with possible action on an application for a Class B combination license by Karen's Pub LLC at 324 North Roosevelt with a licensed premise description as basement first floor, previously licensed as an individual ownership of Karen Gothy. Thank you. I'll go with that. Staff?
Yes, so law department has no objection. We just want to point out that this establishment is in the Old Main moratorium area, set by resolution, but it does meet an exemption as the premise is currently licensed. So the license is being transferred over. And then just for clarification to the applicant, the clerk brought to our attention that the applicant was planning on having a smoking room, or that was part of their floor plan that was submitted with their application, which is prohibited under state statute. So we just wanted to make it clear to the applicant that the liquor license, if approved, applies just to the consumption of sale of alcohol in the areas listed in the license application. And the applicant is obligated to follow all state laws and regulations as well as municipal codes and ordinances. That's all we have.
Please concur.
Please concur. Is there anybody here for this item? Okay. Motion on the floor, Alder Stevens, second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, if you wouldn't mind coming up, and I got a couple questions.
Sure.
And please state your name and address. If you have
My name is
a form.
Brian Gaithy. My wife is Karen, the owner of Karen's
Okay.
Pub. We're transferring the license from her to me. She's retiring.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, we've had it for 8 years now.
And your address, home address?
926 Hireman Street.
Okay, and if you could just fill out the form later. Then the issue was brought up about the smoking room. Is that going to,
It's already been there. It's already been approved by the city.
but you can't have alcohol
That
in
would
that?
be, an inspections issue.
Yeah, I have a copy here if you'd like to see it.
Yes, please.
The floor plan may have been, but not, I'm not sure if there's confusion as to whether the floor plan or the site plan was approved, but that doesn't necessarily.
Everything was
That
approved,
doesn't mean
everything.
that
Mhm.
the smoking room would be
Yeah,
approved.
bring it up.
Yeah.
Right.
The smoking room has been in
Smoking is
existence in the
prohibited in
past?
public-
It has, yes.
public areas.
It's been inspected and approved.
Okay.
I'll just give you
Give it to
that.
the map guy.
Yeah, map.
There's no grandfather clause, but it's over with,
My understanding is that smoking is prohibited.
I'm just looking for
Public
signatures on
places.
this. Oh, we got
So they need this.
in the
one up there,
inspection.
Yes, please, if you
Signed,
could fill it out. and
Before I
just-
leave and hand it to you.
was signed in 2012.
There should be.
So yeah, just take a look. I don't know. It's shown specifically on there, right? You know, I guess the question I have, I've seen some restaurants that have an area that people smoke in, but technically that's illegal, correct?
So there's a citation to be.
Unless, if they go outside in the parking lot, that's one thing.
Right.
But there's not a dedicated
In a
smoking.
public place, smoking is prohibited.
So you have a room right now?
Yes, we do.
but can we issue the
The
light?
license is separate from, I just wanted to make it clear that
Okay, so inspection may
the liquor
be
license would not be,
valid.
no, but I'm saying the liquor license is a separate issue.
Okay.
That the site plan and the floor plan are an inspection issue.
Got nothing to do with the-
And,
So
right,
you
all
gotta
laws
keep
have
that
to be,
separate.
right, it's not, grandfathering it in any way. The liquor license isn't approving or allowing smoking. on
Okay, so it's an
premises.
inspection issue, and we'll let them deal with it? Not really,
Inspections and PD, yes.
okay?
No, police said they had no objection.
Well, to the liquor
To the
license.
liquor license, to the license. Okay.
Okay, and that's all we're doing is the liquor
All right.
license. We have, this is entirely,
All
the
right.
smoking is a completely different issue we do
all right.
not need to deal with, at least not now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any other questions? Anything you care to say?
No, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor by Alder Steuer.
Second.
Second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The floor is now closed. Gentlemen, what do you want to do?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder Stevens.
Second.
Second by Alder Steuer. Any further discussion? Went up in smoke, all that discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It passes unanimously. You have a liquor license. Good luck with inspection. Item number 5, when we're ready. Yep, when you're ready. Yep. Nope.
Yep, number 5.
Okay. Consideration with possible action and an application for an available Class B combination license for Carnitas El Patio LLC at 1698 East Mason Street with a license premise description as behind bar and kitchen dining area. Currently has a Class B beverage license. An application filed at the clerk's office on 11/19th of 2018. Staff.
Law department has no objection.
Please concur.
Your wishes, gentlemen?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder Steuer. Second by Alder Vandelist. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously.
That's fine.
Just leave it like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, number 6.
Number 6, consideration with possible action on an application for an available Class B combination license by Rockabillies LLC at 709 South Broadway with a licensed premise description as 2 bar rooms, patio, storage filed with the clerk's office on 12/3/2018. Staff.
Yes, so this establishment would be in the Broadway moratorium area set by resolution. And the applicant does not qualify for any of the stated exemptions under the moratorium. The prior license expired June 30th, 2018. This premise was previously gasoline bar. It was shut down by the state in February 2018. And they have indicated, the applicant has indicated that they will not be operating as a restaurant. Accordingly, to comply with the moratorium, staff's recommendation would be to deny based on the public policies regarding public peace, safety, welfare, and order that was set forth in the City of Green Bay resolution limiting the number of licensed establishments in the Broadway area. That's just the title of the moratorium. So any denial that is passed by the committee, the reason for the denial needs to be stated for the record.
Okay. Anything from the police department?
We concur with legal.
There's someone here.
Someone here for this?
Motion to open the floor.
Motion open the floor by Alder Steuer. Second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Floor is now open. If you haven't filled out a form, please fill one out later, but your name and address now.
Chris Knudsen, 1754 Maxwell Court, Deep Pier.
Okay. What can you tell us about your establishment you want to get going here?
My wife and I purchased the buildings about a month ago from Ron. Some apartments upstairs, the existing bar downstairs. We're just kind of cleaning it up, kind of reviving it, bringing it back to life.
Do you have any particular vision for the bar?
Yeah, we're sticking rockabilly, vintage, old school stuff, some live music inside, and that's pretty much it.
So, and the music venue would be sort of like rockabilly, or?
Yeah, rockabilly. So you know what, jazz, blues, some classic rock and roll, a little country.
And you think that would be a weekly event, a monthly event?
Bands, I think live music, we're probably looking at, initially twice a month, or,
Mhm.
on the weekend, so possibly Friday night and Saturday night, twice a month. Maybe more, depending on how it takes off.
Yep, almost there.
Thank you, Chair. I'm familiar with this establishment, you know, we gave a license to one of the owners a while back, fought for him pretty well too. And some things have gone on over time, and I don't know how much you were involved with that, but it seemed like there was some issues as far as ownership and renters and items in the bar and things like that, and I know it hasn't been, when was it closed?
I think it was shut down by the state in February, and then they never renewed their license, so it's.
And it was just because the license was,
I'm not sure of the reason
the
why it
reasons
was
for it.
shut down in February.
anyway, all I'm asking is that you're looking to really make this establishment viable in this area. There is a moratorium out too, so I have some questions about that, and I don't, Alder Johnson is here as well. He might want to speak to that, but right now, that's all I have. Right now, I just wanted to let you know that we're aware that there have been some issues with that place over time, and we're just hoping that it continues to be better.
I've been running a place on the east side, opened almost 2 years ago now. Had some previous places before, but the east side V3, I've been up there 2 years and we have no issues whatsoever. Previously, it was a bad area. It was hot box. There was all kinds of bad things going on there. We came in, we cleaned it up. We've had 0 issues. I think the police department can attest to, we've done pretty well there, cleaning it up and making it a great place to be. And that's our intention to do that here as well.
Any other questions?
Now you're gonna you're reapplying for the license then to get your business started?
Yes.
Have you gone through all the application part of it?
What do you mean?
He's filed all the paperwork and everything, yes.
Yes, all the
Yeah,
inspections are done.
to get to this
and
point, you'd have to.
We've passed all the inspections and we're ready to go.
That's all I got.
All right.
Anything you care to add?
That's good.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Motion to close to 4? He
Well, I
can,
thought somebody raised their hand.
oh, I'm sorry.
I'll say.
Oh, okay,
You wanted
yep.
to talk.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Thank you.
No problem. Hey, guys.
State your name and address, please.
Don Mildy, 641 North Huron Street.
make sure you fill out a-
You betcha. I'll fill these out.
Yep, make sure you fill out a form.
Yep, will do. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of speak on his behalf. I mean, I've known him as being a tavern member for quite a few years and always runs good establishments. I have pictures of some of the remodeling that he's doing in there, and he puts like new hardwood floors in, buys new coolers, new televisions, and makes it just a really, really nice place. Being in that area, it's always good to see good ownership go to the area and watch the place develop in the right direction. I think he would provide that.
Questions?
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Anyone else care to speak on this?
Motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor by Alder Steuer.
Second.
Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The floor is now closed. The moratorium, I believe, we'll talk about that. That is advisory, correct? We are not
Correct, it's
bound
by
by it.
resolution, so you're not bound by it. If the committee does want to proceed and approve this premise, I would just, I have example language for a motion just to make it clear that the committee is recommending waiving the requirements of the resolution. And in addition, if the committee does want to approve this license, they are asking for an outdoor patio that doesn't meet our height requirements. So any motion to approve would also need that recommendation that the council waive those requirements by 2/3 vote and approve as presented. So it's a little bit complicated
Oh,
motion. So
okay,
I have
okay.
example language I
Right,
can
right,
present
right.
to the committee if
Okay.
that's the direction you want to go in.
As far as the I wasn't aware of that on the patio. Has that been brought up?
They do have
to-
fencing, it's not I believe our ordinance requires it be impervious to the passing of
Mhm.
anything.
So you can't pass.
And I think it's like wrought iron or
there's holes.
fencing like that there's spacing in between, so
How far?
it doesn't meet our requirements.
I mean, how far does that go from the building? I mean, you're near the right-of-way there too with the bridge, things like that.
I believe, what number is this, number 6?
Mhm.
There should be a
Is there
floor
something?
plan or
Right.
photos in your
Alright.
agenda packet.
Trying to remember, the gasoline, they had a patio as well, did they not?
Yeah, there's pictures. It looks like it's, there's like a wooden patio and then, kind of fencing, like, I'm not sure if you're seeing it or not on your packet.
I see licenses.
If you scroll down, it's
There's a
little
lot
bit
of
down.
attachments.
There's a lot, of- yeah.
All right.
We have purple tunnel.
Patio.
So it's just metal bars,
Let me
horizontal bars.
Is he planning on fixing that?
I'm not sure.
We-
Let me open the floor.
Yeah, we certainly can, if you have more questions you want to.
No, if anybody's gonna-
Okay,
Motion to
well,
open the floor.
motion open to the floor by Alder Stevens, seconded by Alder Stoyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, the floor is now open. If you wouldn't mind coming up and asking, addressing a few questions?
We had no intentions on making any modifications out on the patio currently. In the future, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, possibly. But right now, that's not really our biggest concern. Our biggest concern is just running a great place.
Well, that's the patio, but it really doesn't, I mean, this is not the fencing that they're talking about.
It's
This would be over here, maybe
basically it's
a little bit
it's
of it.
It's almost like a gate that completely encloses it.
Mhm.
It's all steel, and it would be a very large job to fix it. I mean, you basically have to tear the entire thing down
Right.
and start from scratch.
What's the capacity, you know, roughly?
In the patio?
Just rough, I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, comfortably, you might get 15 people out there. Right in the center of the patio, which takes up probably 40% of it, is a wooden base that was built around a billboard that the city owns. That we can't touch it, we can't do anything with it. So it's just right smack dab in the middle and,
You could advertise.
right? I mean, it's just a massive billboard.
No, that's not an enclosed area, so, I mean, there wouldn't be
Well,
smoking out there either, then, or anything like that.
It's
Well,
not an enclosed,
It's not an
It's
enclosed area,
out.
so you would be,
it's
It isn't.
outdoors.
it isn't enclosed,
Yeah, all, this fencing right here.
pretty much open.
All the way around. But it's a fencing that if someone, and that's the concern of the city, someone from the bar could pass the beer to some teenager on the other side, that's the concern. But, I mean, this has been, when gasoline had the bar up and running, it was the same situation, so.
Are you looking to serve alcohol out there?
Serve it? No,
I mean,
not at this time.
Let people take it out there?
Really, it's, the only use for it is to go outside and smoke. That's really the only use for it. We have cameras, we have 16 cameras covering the property, 7 cameras are outside that are monitored. I mean, if there's something going on out there, we would definitely know.
Any other questions?
No,
Anything else?
thanks. Motion to close floor.
Motion, thank you very much, appreciate it. Motion to close the floor by Alder Stoyer, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor of closing the floor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? The floor is now closed, gentlemen. Oh, well, does the Alder care to throw in anything?
Yeah, I haven't received any calls
Alder
from any
Johnson?
residents in the district, so from that perspective, I guess I don't have any concerns. I've received actual multiple calls from people vouching for the applicant, saying that they run a good facility, they think they bring something to the district. You know, as we look at the development around that shipyard area in particular, I think we're probably served a lot less by having a vacant, dormant property than having something that's actually activated that is a sound entertainment venue with good sound management, which we've heard, you know, multiple people vouch for that. So I would support this.
Yeah, thanks.
And I think Alder Stoyer, to your point too, about some problems that have occurred here in the past, I understand that may be the case, but I just want to be clear that that is in no way connected to the applicant. And so I hope that we're not penalizing him and holding that against him, when in reality,
No.
those were issues
I
related to
agree.
a different
Well
tenant.
noted.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder Stevens.
I would,
I just have one more.
Yeah.
We'll get
Okay.
that official
Yep.
language once
Sure.
we,
I just have one more
once we get a
question.
motion on the floor, we can do whatever, but you could, we're not gonna vote, we can still discuss. So
Oh,
if there
all
is, is there a second to the motion?
Second for discussion.
Second for discussion, so
Okay.
motion by Alder Stevens, seconded by Alder Stoyer for discussion, so let's discuss. Yes?
Okay. I just wanted to ask legal and police again. And just refresh me on this, the reason that you denied it, or want to deny it, would be because of the moratorium? Or
Yes.
that's it? That's the only reason? Okay.
Yeah, there were no other
No other-
disqualifying
all right.
factors, correct? No
Okay. Well, then
criminal
I'm
records or
good
anything like
with
that,
that.
it was just the moratorium.
Okay, that's all I need.
Anything else?
So I will second that. I will second that.
You're on the record for second.
Yeah, I am, but I'll be official.
Yeah, you
Really
can still vote,
official.
you can vote against your second, there's nothing wrong with that
No,
either.
I just want to be really definitive.
Yeah, okay, yeah, then, I, yeah,
Is that legal, just to do the description as far as how it's.
Yeah.
yep, well, so the motion should
Yeah,
read,
so the motion should be to waive the Broadway moratorium resolution and to approve the application for an available Class B combination license by Rockabillies LLC, and to recommend that council waive the ordinance requirements for an outdoor licensed premise and to approve the proposed outdoor premise as presented.
that's the motion.
Then I will second that.
And that, the motion made, so moved by Alder Stevens, so seconded by Alder Stoyer. One last round, anything else, gentlemen, like your comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously.
Good luck.
Now, that will take a 3/4 vote at council, at a
To
minimum.
waive the-
2/3.
So it will be a two-part vote. The council will vote to waive the requirements by 2/3 and then
It's
vote
2/3.
to approve it as presented.
That's
Okay.
2/3 on both votes?
Just to waive the requirements for
Patio?
the patio, right.
Okay,
So the council votes to waive the requirements and then they vote to approve it as presented.
okay, yep.
Okay, number 7.
Number 7, consideration with possible action on an application for an available Class B combination license by Zach's Action Pit Billiards Arena LLC at 1730 South Ashland Avenue with a licensed premise description as first floor only bar, restaurant area, kitchen, and back storage room. Filed with the clerk's office, 12/12/2018. Staff.
Yes, so this establishment would be in the Fort Howard moratorium. That is set by ordinance, so that one is not discretionary. And that moratorium requires that an establishment operate as a restaurant. Staff does not have any legal objection to the application as presented. They have indicated that they expect 56% of their sales will be food sales. However, they've also indicated that food would only be served during the lunch hour and reduced to snacks after lunch, and they do plan on being open until bar close, I believe. The moratorium, as I stated, requires that the principal business be that of a restaurant in order to qualify for the exemption. While the 56% food sales projection does qualify them for that exemption, staff is hesitant to recommend approval as it's difficult to be certain that the establishment will really operate as a restaurant with the way that they have it set up with just lunch and then snacks, rather than just a bar and billiard hall for the majority of their operating hours. And then that would violate the ordinance. And once the license is granted, it would be very difficult for the city to determine whether in fact their food sales are of such quantity that makes them a restaurant under the ordinance.
Yep.
If the committee does move to approve the license, our recommendation at that point would be that any motion to approve be made with the condition that the licensee remain in compliance with the qualifications required under the Fort Howard moratorium or ordinance and operate with its principal business being that of a restaurant. So that would be the specific motion, if that's the direction that the committee would like to go in.
Yep. Anything else from staff?
We concur with legal.
Good job, ain't it? Is everybody here for this?
Motion open the floor.
Motion open on the floor by Alder Stoyer, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Floor is now open. If you could come up, give your name and address, please. And if you haven't filled out one of the forms, fill one of those out.
And it's Zach Marquardt. It's 2834 Josephine Circle, Green Bay. And then, yeah, we are planning on, my fiance Christina is going to be cooking. So we are going to be opening a restaurant. Kind of, I would say it'd be similar to the bar down on the end of Ashland. I can't remember the name of it. That's that.
The south end?
Yeah.
In Green Bay?
It's technically Ashwaubenon, but
Camelot, like that?
no, the
or-
one like going towards 41, straight down Ashland.
Oh,
Um,
oh, Ashland, I'm
Yeah, the drift in.
Oh.
So I would I'm trying to get kind of a lunch crowd similar to that as far as the restaurant portion. And I would expect, I just don't want, since Christina's gonna be doing most of the cooking, it's gonna be Cuban food. I don't want her to have to be completely overwhelmed with basically cooking for 12 hours straight. And like, because we are going to be doing authentic Cuban cuisine. So might be kind of hard to find another cook at this time anyway. But as far as like the after hours, we're going to probably pre-make a lot of the food orders. So it's not like a per order basis sort of thing. It's going to be more like make a bunch of orders, and then somebody that is hungry later on will have something available for them, just not probably per order.
Sort of like a deli kind of thing, almost like.
Yeah, like
kind of-
we're gonna do a lot of takeout orders too.
Right.
So just so it's easier on her mainly, so we can prep and then get people their food quick. And then like I played pool for a lot of years, so a lot of my buddies are pool players and stuff. So I really want to make a establishment where they can come and hang out and play each other, but we are going to be primarily a restaurant. So
But you were asking for a combination B, combination
Right.
license as well, which would be serving alcohol.
yep.
I'm looking at the floor plan, and it looks, where would there be tables to eat?
The booths around the
Oh, I see all
walls
the
there,
booths around the
those
wall,
are
okay.
going to have places to sit and eat, and you can eat at the bar, but we're primarily going to be trying to get a lot of takeout orders.
Pardon my ignorance, but there's a building there right now?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
What is it right
There's a
now?
picture.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to,
Yeah, it was
There's
Holy
like 5
Smokes.
items
It
there.
was
Yeah.
like a retail establishment. So I
If
changed
you-
the zoning.
If you go to the floor plan, to the very end,
oh.
you
let
can get it,
go
you
all
can
the
get it
way
upside down. And you just gotta rotate it around like that. And there we go, right there. Keep going.
Oh, there you go. I'll look at yours.
Sure, it's a nice big screen.
What's there right now?
I'll share. That's it. I believe it's an empty, there's no establishment.
We're working on turning it into basically what it shows in the floor plan
Plans,
there.
yeah.
It's in framing, the process of framing right now.
I should ask, what's the zoning down in that area? Anybody know? I mean, it seems like, is there any residential around there?
B1 construction, the
B1.
residential, there are
So-
residential houses behind the building. That's why
So
we're
to the
trying
west.
to, like, keep
know.
with the noise ordinances and stuff like that.
The neighbors are okay with it? That you?
As
that
far
you-
as I'm aware
you
of,
haven't had
yeah.
any
I own the
pushback?
property next door, and then Flammy Flag is right, it's in between our dent shop there and then Flammy Flag.
Oh, okay. Right, I'm familiar with that. Well, that's all I have.
Any other questions?
So you actually own this property as well?
Yes. yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're looking at, I'm putting a little over 200,000 into it to renovate that property and turn it into a pretty nice establishment, so.
Because I'm looking at that picture and I remember there was a restaurant down there at one time. Was that
There
the
was
same building?
Joe's Texas Barbecue
Yes.
on the other side. I
On the
don't
other side.
know that there was ever a restaurant in that property.
It was more of a,
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like just barbecue and.
all right, okay. I'll have to drive by. Okay,
Okay.
that's all I have.
Anything else you care to add?
If you're curious, I don't know if you guys
If
have any
anything you
more
want to share with
questions.
us, now's the time to share it.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking to be compliant with the city on all issues and the police department, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else here want to speak on this issue?
Motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor.
Second.
By Alder Steuer, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor of closing the floor? Aye. Opposed? Takes care of that. We have the alder for the area interested in making any comment on this one?
Same with this project, I haven't received any calls of concerns from residents in the neighborhood. I understand staff's perspective that it would be difficult to verify. However, I don't know that that's a practice that we necessarily get into with any business that applies. I think we kind of take their word for it. The one thing that maybe by way of recommendation that I would offer up to the owners, if the committee would be agreeable for approval of this, is giving consideration to maybe dinner versus lunch. I'd just be curious to see how, I mean, if bulk of your traffic's gonna be there while they're playing pool, I would think that's when you're gonna have a stronger likelihood to sell food, as opposed to the lunch hour, but I think that's part of your business operation, your decision to make, but just something I'd encourage you to consider.
Okay.
And I think about takeout as well. Usually people are home in the evening, when they want to enjoy that.
Okay.
But I have no objection.
Okay, actually, I would like to know from the owner why they're choosing lunch to dinner, if we would mind.
Motion to the floor.
Motion to the floor by Alder Stevens, seconded by Alder Steuer, all in favor? Aye, okay, yeah, if you wouldn't mind, but how did you determine, if you wouldn't mind, so you're on the cameras?
Mainly it's so we can kind of have a home life.
Oh, well, that's something to take into
Yeah.
consideration.
We're getting married in February, so we kind of want to keep it that way.
Okay,
Um,
that is a consideration, I just wondered what all, and that's.
Yeah,
certainly-
down the road, like if we can get another cook trained or something like that, where it wasn't necessarily us there the whole time. Like initially, we want to be the ones kind of building the business and getting it ran properly and everything like that. Down the road, when I get it running a little bit smoothly, and I think I could handle maybe having somebody manage that more towards nighttime, that might be something I would do. Yeah.
Have you done this before at all?
A good buddy of mine owns the Varsity Club in Oshkosh, which is a 15,000 square foot pool hall, and I helped him run that for years. So that's kind of where I got the experiences as far as pool rooms and stuff like that. But
Were you aware of the ordinance when you bought the property and everything?
yeah, I called the city and I was trying to decide what route to go with the building, honestly. And like I've always wanted to own a pool hall, and she's wanted to open a restaurant. And then so
Right
trying
together.
to kind of meet in the middle, and then, but yeah, we were thinking coffee shop and other stuff like that, and I know I considered opening a liquor store there, but it's like, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I know exactly
I
what
just
you mean.
want to have a little bit of fun, and kind of, it's nice because I can keep an eye on the place next door there too, because I'm often fixing dents next door, so.
What's the business next door?
We have me and a business partner have dent care. We do paintless dent removal.
I'll be over and wait.
Yeah, stop on.
All right, that's good. That's all I have.
Okay, and me too, I was curious as to how the business plan formed up, and that's.
Yeah, that's kind
Home
of.
life is good, stay married, that's a.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yep, I can
try to
appreciate
keep
that.
it
Yep.
just simple at first, and then if we can expand into doing more full-on menu towards the dinner, that'd be something we would be not opposed to, for sure.
Okay. And you do realize that if we do go forward with this, and somehow the restaurant end of it doesn't catch on, but the pool hall does, we're gonna end up taking your liquor license, because it's gonna be obvious pretty much that that's what happened.
Right.
Okay.
She's a pretty good cook.
Cuban, oh boy. That's, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay,
But
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Motion-
Thank you.
motion to close the floor.
motion to close the floor by Alder Steuer. Second by Alder Stevens. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Well, I wish there wasn't an ordinance. It'd be real easy for me. I think they're really smart business people here. What they're doing, I think, is really good. And Cuban food, ooh, there's nothing like that in Green Bay, man. I could see that taking off. I would hope it would take off. But that ordinance, I mean, this isn't just a moratorium that's advisory. This is an ordinance, so this is more serious.
Yeah, and I've thought about that too, and over time, there's been, with that Fort Howard moratorium, there are, I think there's an establishment or two, aren't there? Like in the military that they have wine, things like that. There's a couple.
They're
places-
restaurants.
Restaurants. There's a
Yeah.
couple places that have gone through that. I think that the original intent in 1895, things have changed a little bit, and I understand that there is an ordinance, but with what was talked about tonight, I'm pretty comfortable with it. So,
I make a motion to approve. The gentleman that's come forward he owns the property. It sounds like he's gonna make a good commitment as far as his remodeling the building, and I'd like to give him a chance.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Alder
Vanderleest?
Vanderleest and seconded by Alder Stoyer. Any other comments?
Just one more Alder Scannell, if I
Yep,
could.
yes, sir.
I just looking at your business name, and I realize, this may be filed already, but Zach's Action Pit Billiards Arena doesn't make any reference to food or restaurant. I think if you really want that food piece to take off,
I was gonna include it on our
somehow get
signage.
that reflected in there. So just a piece of advice, not
Yeah,
something that would deter me from supporting. So.
Thank you.
The name of the restaurant's gonna be?
Zach's Action Pit.
Oh, that's the thing, restaurant, for Cuban food.
Action?
Well, yeah, on the sign, we're planning on putting Christina's Cuban Cuisine on there.
An addendum.
Yeah. Okay. I really like this. I really, really like this. I guess I'll support it now, and we'll see what happens at council. The ordinance is, I think, a much more serious thing, and I think this is obviously, very much a pool hall with a restaurant that, they're crossing their fingers. It's gonna be, I'm not sure 56%. They're gonna really meet that, quite honestly, to begin with. I don't know. But how do you judge that? That is a touchy thing, and I think as long as they're promoting food and they're selling food and we'll see how the business takes off. We can see if they start increasing their hours or not. We can kind of keep an eye on this going forward, and they renew their license. If we feel the restaurant hasn't taken off, there's more billiards, we'll have to deny their license. All right,
It's a possibility.
I'm good with that. I'm good with going forward. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and the motion was made by
My second.
Alder Vanderleest, and the motion should read?
The motion should read, the motion to approve with the condition that,
All eyes, and they don't even know what they voted on.
Well, she had mentioned it before. We want to make sure it's right in the record.
with the condition that the licensee remain in compliance with the qualifications required under the Fort Howard moratorium ordinance.
Yep, so moved and so seconded. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. We'll see what happens Tuesday. Next door, yep, good luck.
Just for notation for the committee, that was our last available license.
This is the license, yep.
So
that's-
anybody else that will be coming forward will now be in reserve.
Reserve, yep.
Yep.
I almost brought that up, but then I thought it should be sort of going on its own merits. That should not be
Right.
part of the conversation, so I did not bring that up. But it's good that the committee is aware that we are out of liquor licenses. We
Yes.
are into the reserve, which
Correct.
means
For those-
any license going
We'll
forward,
see.
they will need to pay $10,000 to get the
If
license.
council approves everything that the committee recommended tonight, then that would be it. And anybody else moving forward would be applying it
So
for
how many
reserve.
are available? Just a couple.
For reserves, I'm not sure how many
No, I'm
reserves
just
we
saying,
have.
tonight, we had like.
We had three
Three.
available
We gave
licenses,
three.
three
Okay.
available applicants, and all three have passed. All right, number 8.
We Number 8, consideration of possible action on an appeal by Jordan Stordock to the denial of his operator's license. Staff.
Yes, staff recommends denial of this appeal based on several convictions for offenses, including felony convictions, which taken together substantially relate to the license activity, as they indicate a propensity for repeated criminal behavior and disqualify the appellant as a habitual law offender under section 125.04. And you should all have the denial memo that kind of
Yep.
lays out all the offenses.
Yep.
Motion open the floor.
Well,
Or you want to
Please
list the
concur
police?
with one.
I'm sorry.
yeah, I wanted to get the concur in there. Let's make it official. Let's make it official. There's someone here for this? Okay, motion to open the floor by Alder Steuer, second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If you could please come forward, state your name and address.
Jordan Stordock, 618 James Street, De Pere. So I will not deny that I had some troubles when I was about 17, 18, 19 years old. That is when I got my drunk drivings. That's when I did the uttering of forgery, which is a felony charge. You know, I was in trouble for that. I was on probation. I had to pay every single cent back. I put myself in a large amount of debt. I destroyed my credit. Now at 34 years old, I have turned my life around. For the past 8 years, I have been working management positions. I've been running restaurants, running retail businesses. I'm applying for this license because I'm just trying to get a job as being a backup at a small tavern on Broadway, Lucky Sevens, where I know everybody that works there. I grew up with all the bartenders. The lady that runs it is like a second mother to me, and it was something I was just looking to do maybe 2-3 times a month to help them because they don't have quite enough hours for, you know, like another full-time bartender basically.
Okay, I think we have a slip up here. The name of the record we have is James Stordock, and the applicant is Jordan Stordock, and what he described, I'm not seeing on this. Do we have the right record?
We do. That was a typo on my part. on
My
the
middle
denial
name
memo.
is James.
Okay.
So it's
But where is?
Yeah, the record that we were reviewing is Jordan Stordock, so the items that I have as far as the offenses are correct from PD.
Oh, there, okay, I see, I missed it, okay. I get it
This
now.
is middle name.
2005 was the felony.
That was the conviction. I
Right.
actually did the offense probably 4 years before that.
Yep. And the more recent, bail jumping, operating while revoked, 4th misdemeanor, charge dismissed but read in, operating while revoked, charge dismissed but read in.
So I didn't lose my license a bunch of times. I just lost my license once for a very long time, and I got my license reinstated. They dropped some charges that I had, but there's a bail jumping charge because there's 2 of them within I think a 6-month time frame. And I was under the impression that I had to have SR22 to get my license reinstated, but it was a long story, but it was a long thing for me to get through all the hoops to do it, but I finally did it, and I have not had any issues since I've had my license back.
I see, okay. So this all had to do with your license being revoked
From
and getting it back and some issues you went through with that.
Correct.
Okay.
Like I said, I admit my mistakes, but, you know, as far as, you know, continuing a lifestyle, being a habitual offender going into my 30s, that is absolutely not the case. I've maintained a job. I've been living in my house for 7 years. You know, like I said, I have my car now and it's fully insured, and I, you know, have came quite a long way, you know, for how much I put myself in debt, how much I destroyed my credit. It's actually astounding what I've done in that time frame.
So this is a part-time job you're looking for?
This is only to be a backup at a...
So you are working right now?
Correct. I'm an assistant store manager for a grocery store in Howard.
How long?
I've been there for 2 years.
2 years.
And have you bartended in the past?
I have not, no. Well, I have, because I got a provisional initially before I knew about all this.
Right.
Got the copy of the letter,
Right, right.
so I have helped there in that aspect of it, but no, I have not.
Yeah, I was just wondering if any other community, they granted you a license.
In a
has
retail,
happened.
in a retail aspect, not in
Right.
like a bar aspect. In a retail aspect, I do. Howard has given me one.
Yeah. Okay,
Quick question, do you have any outstanding judgments that are due on you through the Brown County?
No, everything is done, everything is cleared, both in the legal aspect and also personally.
Okay, that's good, thank you.
Do you have any folks that have vouched for you, you know,
I mean, I do.
bosses, do you have letters, anything like that?
Oh, I didn't bring anything
Well, I'm
in
just
that
saying.
regards with me, but yeah, absolutely, people I've worked for, a gentleman that you guys may know, Pat Hoffman, who owns the creamery.
Oh.
I helped him get that business going its first year and a half. You know, just trying to think of anyone else you guys may know, but obviously, I do look in that element of jobs I've had in references, yes. You know, my landlord, who I've rented from for 7 years, you know, thinks the world of me, so.
But that always helps, you know, just in case, you know, for future reference. So, I'm good right now.
anything else you care to add?
No,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor by Alder Steuer, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor of closing the floor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The floor is now closed. Gentlemen, what are you thinking?
Initially, I was looking at this and thinking, boy, you know, and of course, when legal and the police say no, but I like this story. I feel that he's turning it around a little bit. I'm still on the fence a little bit as far as the vote, but I feel that he's made a good presentation. So,
The felony was 2005. That
Yeah.
was a bit
while
ago.
ago.
Yeah. And it seems like all the problems after that had to do with his license. So, which were not certainly felonies. And it seems like since 2015, he seems to have gotten that all cleaned up.
I'm confident. I'll make a
This
motion
is
to
his
approve.
full-time job, so.
No, well, the thing is, we must keep in mind, our responsibility is that, you know, once we give this, he can take that license, work anywhere for any, you know, and full-time, part-time, I mean, just what he's doing now, we gotta be aware that if we grant this license, we're saying, okay, you can bartend anywhere in the city of Green Bay for any time you wanna do it. So, but yeah, it's just a part-time thing now,
Right.
so.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder Steuer.
Second.
Second by Alder Vanderleest. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yes.
Okay, that passes 3-1. So that'll be taken up again
Do we
at
wanna
council.
I'm sorry, could we do a roll call vote to?
Oh, yeah, we better, we
Oh.
got it, yep, roll call, yep. We should. We don't do those very often. Forget those.
It should start. It
Yep.
should have
Okay.
started.
I'm
Just
up.
come up.
Mine came up.
Mine's up.
Alder Vanderleest didn't come up.
And you would like to vote yes?
Yes.
Okay, that passes 3-1.
And you voted? You voted.
Yep, oh yeah, mine came up right away.
Yes?
You ready?
Oh, no. I just want to delete the previous vote.
Mhm.
So it's 3-1.
It's 3-1.
Let's hear the vote.
Yeah, it was, I said aye, and then we had a,
All right, number 9.
number nine. Consideration with possible action on an appeal by Scott Brooks regarding inspection fees occurred at 1499 7th Street. We do have his appeal in our packet here. And staff.
I will
Believe-
defer I think we have somebody from, if Cheryl would,
And-
whoever from inspections.
Paul? Mr. Van Castle? Yep.
Yep.
Okay, let's hear from staff.
I got a little hand, Paul Van Kelster, Chief Building Official for the City of Green Bay.
Thank you.
Sorry, Councilman. So being that these appeals are going to come to this committee, I just wanted to give you a background on on the complaint process and what we see in the inspections department. So I won't read everything, but I'll try and give you just the highlights of what's in front of you guys. There's 43,000 units, dwelling units within the city. And on the next line down, you'll see that there's actually more rental units within the city than there are home or unit ownerships in the city. Just by a little bit, but there's a hair more rentals. When it comes to complaints, in 2018, we had 3,800 complaints. Almost 2/3 of those complaints dealt with rentals. When it comes down to impacted addresses, what that means is how many are rentals and how many addresses were for owners. It's almost split. You got the same amount, 1,200 of each. The next line gets a little interesting. When it comes to complaint distribution, single complaints, multiple complaints, you'll notice that the multiple complaints on the single side is about 28%. And then on the rental side, it's almost 68%, where they're getting multiple complaints at the same address. The next line gets even a little more interesting when it comes to that multiple complaint issue. On the ownership, you see there's only 5 that we had last year that had 5+ complaints at a ownership. And there, on the other one, we had 87 landlords with 5+ complaints. So some of the key recaps down below is that the inspection department dealt with real, do you have a question?
Oh, no, no.
Oh, no, I thought you were going to ask.
No,
Okay. So the inspection division has dealt with about 5.6% of the units within the city, whereas the other 94% plus, we have limited or no interaction because there's no reported issues at those units. That 87 landlords that had the 5+ complaints, that makes up almost 19% of the complaints that we deal with. And I think this next one is the real eye-opener. Inspection spent 60% of our time just on 2.7% of the units in the city. That was an eye-opener when we got through the data and actually looked at it and read what it's telling us. So that kind of, where I'm going with this leads into why we're here for the reinspection. So what we've done in my role as the chief building official is we're changing the approach to how we do it. We were using citations through the court system, but if I go to your house and you need to paint your house and I
His house.
your house,
Yeah, right.
and I tell you, hey, you gotta paint your house, and you just ignore me, then we write a citation. We go another 30 to 60 days in the court system, which ties up a bunch of the law staff to get through that process. At the end, maybe I can get you to paint your house, and the citation of $691 is typically waived as long as you pay, or as long as you paint your house. But we've gone 3 months waiting for you to paint your house. This reinspection fee process, we're getting you to paint your house when the citations get to $200 to $400, you're gonna paint your house. Because there's how do you wanna say it? An image that the city has that citations are waived. I don't have to pay it. You don't have to pay attention to me because we'll go to court. Everybody knows that it gets dropped and yada, yada, yada. So this citation approach, or this reinspection fee approach is getting results. We're closing cases and getting the complaints addressed. So now on the second page, well, actually on the other attachment there, I just gave you my recap. I think Scott will come up here. There's some discrepancies in where we got to, but the cliff notes, if you will, from the 2 pages. The first page is what we have in our city records. The second page is Scott's notes that I think you guys have in front of you with our city counterpoints in the red. But the cliff notes are, the issues all started when the prior owner took out a permit to build a garage, and he did it for building and electrical. Well, he jimmy rigged the electrical, so there were orders to get the electrical fixed. That never happened. So we went to reinspection fees on that original owner to get it fixed. That never happened. Somewhere in there, I don't know the exact date that Scott bought the house, but he paid some of the reinspection fees that were out there and then didn't address the issue that needed to be addressed. So that brings us to today, where he's looking to have those fees waived based on the fact that he bought the house So my contention is, was aware of them, and he didn't rectify them until we got to this point.
And is the work done?
On the garage, yes, that one's closed. But in the interim of all this, he started working on the house, because it went into foreclosure, so he bought it. He started working on the house without permits. He used it may not be Scott's fault, but he used a contractor to install the furnace. That was shady and had citations out against him. There were issues with it. Scott had to hire a different contractor to come in, fix, and then sign off that it was properly installed. So that's still a work in progress, the house, but the garage that started this, as far as the re-inspections, that's done and closed.
Okay. And those also, and all these fees relate just to that? He's
Yes,
not
correct.
getting any
There's nothing on the
thing
house.
for now,
No.
that's all
He got-
in the process.
He was hit for a double fee on the permit because he was working without a permit.
So he bought the house, Paul, afterwards. So how long of a time period was there from the time that there were these initial problems to the time he bought the house?
I think that's.
The re-inspection
listed?
started in 18,
18? Okay.
early 18.
So he was aware of that?
Yes.
So,
I have a
Question. Yep, by all means,
Re-inspection fees are done daily,
Yes,
$50.
yep,
and a person goes out there every single day?
yes. Takes a picture, puts it in the file and says that it's not done. And then they issue the re-inspection fee. But you gotta remember, by the time we're to the re-inspection fee, we've already spent, this was prior to me taking this position that I have right now. We have spent countless weeks, months, years to get to this point. Whereas, as a part of what I'm doing as well, is I want to shrink that window up, so it's not years, so you don't leave your house unpainted for years. We bring it back to a realistic expectation that the city would have and their adjacent neighbors would have. So when we get to re-inspection fees, we're past the point of, I mean, we've been friendly and helpful and forgiving and extending all the way up to that point. Now it's like, all right, we're done. We've tried so many times. It's time for you to actually paint your house.
yeah, I think at first blush, when you look at it, it seems like, well, you're after them, but you're saying it's beyond
No,
that point.
this is past we're past that point.
What is the total amount that's due then on this property?
I didn't actually add up.
I believe it's $800,
$800.
$850, 150 of which he has paid or is willing to
I
pay?
believe he paid, yeah. those-
He's paid 150 of it because that is what was accrued under the former owner.
Yep.
And then, so he'd like us to waive $700, which is what it's.
The rest?
The rest of it.
Part of the sale, when you go to sell a house, that's the other reason we're doing it this way. It goes on the tax records. So so you can't just walk away and go, oh, I'm not gonna pay that $500 bill. It has to be paid before, even at the end of the year. Let's say you're still in your house. At the end of the year, that 500 goes towards the city, so the city gets paid. And then you have to pay your taxes after that. So if you pay $1,000 thinking your taxes are paid, you're 500 short, and it starts another whole process and another whole world. It sounds harsh, but if you knew the background story all the way up to that point, it's not. It's more than fair based on what we've been trying to do.
I'm just stunned by looking at 60% of the time is spent on just 2.7% of the units. Is that, Cheryl, is that?
I mean, we've always known when we worked through inspection that there was that small number of landlords that gave us a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And that just really shows it. You can see that in the percentages on that sheet.
Are we going to?
Not pertaining to this case.
Right, not this
No.
case, but. I got questions on that, but that's
Yeah,
off
that's
point
something
now.
else. I know.
We'll talk later. Let's stay on point. So, he claimed there was $150, and then with that, and I want to just make sure I got this clear. The foreclosure was October 31st. Purchased the property on October 31st. Became the legal owner on the confirmed sale November 28th. So November 28th, how much would that was more than $150 by November 28th, wasn't it? By the, no, maybe not. Let's see.
He must have only paid the fees through 10/22 of 18, those three.
If I could just interject, I didn't pay any of the fees.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
We'll open the floor and
We'll
you'll have your
open the
chance.
floor.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, yep. For inspection fee, the first reinspection fee,
Well, that was back on 4/5 of 18.
5 of 18, so.
And that would have been with the old owner.
With the
That's
old
50
owner.
With the-
$50.
Yep, $50. And that's due to the fact that, on the second page where I covered it, that's due to the fact that the electrician went out there, saw how he had wired it with extension cords and whatnot instead of actual wire, and wrote an order. He had 30 days to make the correction, and then we say, 30 days, we're coming back to make sure that it's done. Otherwise, people don't, they just don't
Right.
do it. That's our only avenue to get back in there. If we go and something's not done, we re-inspect. We've been charging that $50 re-inspection fee. And then
That's
from
still
there,
going
it
on. That's still going on now, right?
well, this
No,
one's
no.
done.
No,
Okay,
it's closed.
it's
Yeah,
closed.
but it did go on all the way through November.
Okay.
Right. And,
Pardon my ignorance, why did it stop?
because it was
It was
finished.
It was finished. They actually
They finished.
did correct it.
Okay.
Scott corrected it, and then it was finished.
Yep,
All right, I understand. All right.
okay. Well, I just want to, there's a few things, I mean, there's a lot of dates here, I want to make clear. The reinspection fee was on the, started on the 4/5, no,
Yeah,
4/5/18.
Yep.
And it wasn't $50, it's not $50 a day.
No,
It's
on this-
$50 for every inspection that you come back to.
Correct. We have to go back, physically go back and make
Back.
sure that it was done or not.
So, and then you waited, at first you waited a month to
Yeah.
give them the 30 days, and then, okay. So every one of these is when when he gets hit with 50
Yes.
bucks.
Correct. Yeah.
When you do that, I guess the question I have, do you contact the person saying, we're coming over, or is it a cold call, you just come over?
Right on the letter.
The letter states that
invoice
you're coming
says,
out.
Yep, we're gonna come back, we're gonna keep
So
re-inspecting till we get
it's up to
compliance.
you to contact
Right.
them. I mean, they have to contact you.
You have to
right?
contact the inspections office, set up the inspection, and we'll come out and do it and
Okay.
close the case.
Now, if we have a situation where we have an owner and he's not compliant and he ends up going to the hospital, how do we take that into account? Do we take that into account? How do we,
He was, in this case, I don't know all the
Right,
details
right,
of when
but-
when he went into the hospital and whatnot, but the owner, I'm presuming, knew about it when he went into the hospital. The buyer knew about it when he bought the house and knew there was an issue outstanding. I think I would have looked at it different had he not paid the 150, or, the 150 in re-inspection fees because he was unaware. But buyer due diligence, that's against, it's on the property tax, so it's there. You should be aware, what is it? Is there more, et cetera? Is it
Mhm.
closed out? Why, what, you know?
Yep.
Basically, what you're saying is that a lot of these violations were not addressed, so you had to keep going back. And when the new owner took over, he was aware of this.
Right, because he paid the violations that were outstanding. Now,
Same.
whether or not he knew or asked, is it fixed? That I don't know, but that's on the buy. Anybody buying a house within the city, we get them all the time. If someone will call, the realtor will call and say, are there any orders? Are there any violations? Are there outstanding permits, et cetera, before I buy the house? Are there issues I need to be aware of as the purchaser to know that there's there's things I have to do to get it into compliance once I buy the house.
And if go ahead.
Generally speaking, when you have an inspection, let's say they had a home inspection, they would find a lot of these violations right off the bat, I'm sure.
Done by who, though? Because
Or it'd have to be a certified inspector.
a city inspector would be the one that would find the inspections. You're the ones, when you're buying a house, they may look for violations, but they're not gonna know about what's in our file unless they call and ask what's in the file for, you know, from the past that needs to be rectified. They're doing more of a visual.
So it's,
So realtors don't always come to the city then? You have
No,
to get
not
that
always.
information.
But I personally,
But
I personally had phone calls where they ask, and what's the background, are there any orders or?
Let's do diligence on
Yeah.
the
Right.
buyer's
Yeah.
part.
right. And that may be the
So-
issue is with the realtor and the former owner.
Correct.
That might be, you may need to go seek redress there.
And I've had that too, where they didn't disclose it in the sale of the house, that there were these issues, et cetera. They said, actually, they checked the box saying, no issues, we're compliant. Then it's a legal issue outside of, it's nothing with the city,
Mhm.
it's between the seller and the buyer,
Right.
that they gotta go after one another.
Anything else for staff?
Not right now.
Okay, yeah, not right now, thanks.
Thanks, Paul.
Yep,
Motion to open the floor.
yep, motion open the floor by Alder Steuer. Second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Floor is not open, now's your chance.
Okay.
And you did fill out a form before?
I didn't, but I will.
Okay, and your name and address now?
Scott Brooks, 1226 Longtail Beach Road, no, 1226 Pinecrest Road in Swamico, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Recently moved.
Okay.
So we talked about a lot of stuff. I think if all that was accurate, then I would agree I would be responsible for those fees. But I think if we just talk through it, everybody will understand, kind of get a clear picture of what happened. So the prior owner pulled an electrical permit for the garage in 2016, never closed it out. So in April of 2018, almost 2 years later, he would have received a letter in the mail saying you're being charged $50 for not closing out this permit. Well, the problem is by April of 18, he was already in foreclosure. So there would be no incentive large enough or frequent enough to incentivize him to close out that permit because he was losing his house. He received another $50 fee at the end of May, and then a third one, I think it was the third week of October. Now, the problem is by the third week of October, and found this out through talking to neighbors and trying to track this guy down, he was no longer even living in the house. And when I tracked him down, he was an inpatient at Bellin Hospital, disabled. So, again, from his perspective, the prior owner's perspective, he had no incentive or means or need to pay the existing or any of these fees moving forward. By the end of October and through late November, the charges accumulated daily. So I tracked him down, like I said, at the end of October, he was in the hospital, told him I intended to buy his house and asked him the condition of the house, those types of things. He gave me the key to the house, I'd go over there, take a look, do whatever you want. I went over, looked at it, gave him the key back. And he said, well, you can make a copy. So I made a copy. I ended up buying the house at the end of October, October 31st. But when you buy a foreclosure, you don't get custody of the house. It's not your house until the court confirms the sale, which is another 4 to 6 weeks. In this case, the sale didn't confirm until the end of November. But he gave me the key, he said, go in there and do whatever you want. So I went over there and started hauling out garbage and these types of things. Now during this time, we started getting mail for him from the city of Green Bay, these letters. And I'm like, well, there's a whole bunch of letters here. So I went back to the hospital and I said, what are these? And we opened them up and there are all these inspection fees. And he said, yeah, I told them I wasn't doing electrical in the garage, but they didn't understand me and, you know, kind of irrelevant. He wasn't going to take care of it. So I called the assessor's office to find out what was going on, and they gave me the history at that point that these were all outstanding from this whole situation he had gotten himself into. And so this was November 8th, I called the inspector's office and found out what was happening. That was a Thursday. I was told that the electrical inspector, who I wanted to get back out there to look at it, wouldn't be in until the following Monday. So I got him out there on Monday, we looked at it. He said, I'll send you the requirements to get this thing into compliance. So I waited and waited. Finally, I got the note from him on the 20th of November. These are the things you need to do to rectify the situation. So by November 28th, by the day I took legal possession of the property, I had everything rectified and the issues were closed out. So it wasn't a situation where I was aware this whole time that things were going on. I wasn't taking care of it. I think I addressed the situation in an expeditious as possible fashion, really. I mean, as fast as I could make it happen. So I guess the reason I'm here is to hope that you guys will agree with me that to hold me accountable for all these charges really wouldn't be in alignment with the spirit of the policy, which is to incentivize the delinquent property owner to take action.
So you're telling me that they were out on the 8th, but then you got a letter or notification from inspections on the 20th?
No, I called the office on the 8th, and I said, and they explained to me what was happening. And I said, well, when can I get the electrical inspector out there? And we can, find out exactly what needs to be done, because bear in mind, I'm not the legal owner yet, right? Anything I do, if they don't confirm the sale, I lose all that investment. So I said, well, I'm gonna find out exactly what needs to happen, and apparently the inspector was on vacation. He was back the following Monday. So I ended up leaving him a voicemail. He called me, I think it was Monday, and he came out there on Monday. And we talked about it, and he said, I'll send you the requirements. On the 20th, I got his email with the requirements, and I took care of it before the 28th, which was when he came back and closed it out.
So do you have that email from inspections? Does the inspection have the email that was sent to him?
I have a copy.
You guys have that email?
I'm sure we do, upstairs, yeah. But it was actually closed out before you had ownership. It was closed out on the 21st. That's when they noticed the other activity in the house that was being done without a...
Well, right, and that's a separate issue that we're not talking about here, but...
Well, it's not. They both go hand in hand. I mean...
Well, that was a contractor I hired, my fault. He didn't pull the permit for the HVAC. And that was really the only thing.
Well, from the 8th to the 20th, there's charges on here.
Well, right, they even after I talked to the inspector, when he came out on the 12th, which is the following Monday, he said, now that I've been out here, this stuff should stop. And, going back, you'll have to talk to our legal about that. But even he was surprised that the fees continued after he came out there and talked to me. And he could attest to that, I'm sure, but, yeah.
Okay, then, did you talk to legal?
I did, I went to the office and they told me that this was the process to send a letter to somebody in the office. And
Okay. That was what I wanted to talk to about. Any other questions for the gentleman? Just for the gentleman. We'll talk to
Right,
staff. I
right.
got a couple for staff, but
We might
right now,
call
we
you
got the floor
back.
open.
Right now, I don't have anything.
I guess the other comment is I never paid any of those fees. I guess the comment was that I paid some of the fees because I knew about it. I haven't paid any of them.
It must have been, they were paid though in the closing process.
No, there was no closing because there was a foreclosure. I just pay the bank what they sell it for.
The city got paid for them through that process. Now what the...
The bank may have paid them because they're
The
outside.
bank you probably couldn't get clear title unless they paid those, the bank paid the fees.
Well, how come the bank didn't pay all of them? Well, that's a staff
That's-
question, or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, the majority didn't accumulate until they started happening daily at the end of October.
End of October.
I mean, what I wrote in my letter was, the first three, I knew there was $150 charged for something, there was a $150 charge, and then there was like another special assessment for something related to the street for $700 or $800. So, those I knew there were some assessments out there, and I took that into account when I bought it. So I guess kind of irrelevant where they originated, I'm not contesting those because I knew they were out there.
So just 150's been paid, nothing else has been paid.
Correct.
And that's, we're sending the bill for you, and that's what you want. So it's 700 that you,
Right, and I think the spirit of this policy is to incentivize the delinquent property owner who doesn't take care of his property, right? And I think you can see when I came in, this was resolved in as fast as it could possibly be done.
According to
yep,
the,
anything further for this gentleman first?
according to the city staff, that these back charges, the $700, it's kind of linked to the deed of the property.
Well, right, that's the basis for that's why I'm here, is to try and appeal this, because, again, I think in the spirit of the policy, we talk about policy and practicality and why things are done, right, is to incentivize someone to take action, right? In this case, it was a prior owner who didn't take action, and I guess given the situation, you can understand why. He was losing his house and had no incentive to do so.
But he would, well, go ahead.
But if we look at it, if there was back taxes due on the property, I think that would also have to be satisfied. Is that correct? City-
And I think
Well,
that was the
let's see.
situation with the 150.
Well, yeah, there was 150, I guess, related to this specifically.
Okay. So in other words, these back inspection fees, the city's saying that they have to have the $700. because they weren't satisfied by the previous owner who lost the property, so you're the new person coming in. In other words, these fees are still linked to the property, to the address of your property.
Exactly. I guess that's why I'm here, is to appeal that in terms of practicality. And again, looking at the spirit of policy, I think when we get into policy, government, private, what have you, if we don't look at the spirit of a policy, things can go directions that they weren't meant to. And in this case, a person who's unrelated to what happened, an innocent party, so to speak, is being held accountable for what happened. I guess appealing to the practicality and the again, the spirit of what the policy was implemented for to begin with.
I think with the, if you think about the city's part of it, they're really trying to recoup the money the time that they spent on, trying to get the property into code compliance. And I think that's where the link comes between, they spent the time to inspect, they did the follow-ups, and nothing got done because the previous owner didn't do anything. But it's still linked to the property. I think that's why, evidently, that is the policy of the city of Green Bay.
I understand. I guess what I'm saying, this is an unusual circumstance.
I understand on foreclosures, there's a lot of hidden details, and that was one that evidently you weren't aware of when you bought the property.
Right, and I think from what I described, as soon as I was aware of it, I took care of it.
But the city is still due the $700, is that correct? City staff?
That's what they want, yes. City
Okay.
staff is still saying yours.
You were saying that Mr. Bryce, he was in the hospital and such, and I guess the question I have is that you were saying that he might not feel affected by this in any way, shape, or whatever. You made that opinion as far as that, and I don't know. I feel that I just have some questions on that. I'm gonna have to ask Cheryl about that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's something to do with the fact that he's disabled and all that. I think that's more of a legal thing, but.
Yeah, it's an opinion as well.
Well.
And
Yep. Yep.
That's all the questions I have.
I can't think of anything else right now. Anything else you want to add quick? We can always open the floor again.
Yeah, no, I think I kind of went through the.
Yep, timeline, yeah,
sequence
again,
of events.
you wrote a very good appeal, so a lot of it's right there. So, okay, thank you. Motion to close the floor?
Motion.
Motion by Alder Steuer, second by Alder Vander Leest. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Floor is now closed.
I think Cheryl wanted to say
So am I correct in stating that really the issue was when the foreclosed property transferred? It was a transfer of property, but the owner didn't have official access to do anything in the property until a later date, correct,
Mhm.
with the foreclosure?
Right.
Correct, legal change can.
Legal change, okay, and I think our issue probably was that, okay, if that would have happened and an owner called up and said, look, this is the situation that happened, I can't do anything to the property until this closes. I don't think that happened though, because you were in there working the whole time, right?
Well, there's no closing, but.
Should we open the floor for this? Do we need
Yeah.
to open the floor for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we should have asked if staff had any questions for him. So, motion to open the floor
yes.
by Alder Steuer, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So the floor is now open. If you just wouldn't mind coming up to the podium so you're recorded and everything.
Was it a tax foreclosure?
No.
Okay, so you went through a process of acquiring the property, but then it needed to be confirmed at a later date?
What happens is it goes to an auction,
Mhm.
highest bidder wins, you pay
Mhm.
10% down.
Mhm.
But you don't get full ownership, you don't get a deed until 4 to 6 weeks later, when the court looks and says,
Right.
the bank's done everything they should have done legally.
Yep,
you can have
so the
deed.
court has to confirm that date. My question is, did you let an inspector know that during that time period that you acquired the property, but during that time period, you don't really have access to the building, really, until the court confirms that sale?
Well, I had access because he gave me the key and said you can do whatever you want, right, after the 31st.
Right.
So I went in there, but I wasn't aware until I seen all this mail coming later from the city. I'm like, well, what's all this stuff from the city?
Did you call the city?
Well, I went back to him first. Was on the.
Did you ever call the city?
Yeah, right after that. Right after I talked to
Okay.
him, it was the 10th of November. I went
Okay.
back to the hospital and I talked to him and I said, how do we resolve this? What's going on? And to get the whole
Right.
story from everybody.
Because he's out of it at that point.
He's out of it.
He's out of it at that point. It's really between you and the city at that point.
Right, and that
with
was,
regards to how
that
that's
was
gonna
the
go.
8th of November, it was a
Mhm.
Thursday. I was
Right.
told that the inspector would be back on Monday,
Mhm.
right? He came back on Monday and we talked about it, and then he sent me the stuff on the 20th, I took care of it by the 28th.
Okay.
So in the spirit of the policy, I could offer up that I would be fine with waiving everything up to November 7th. Because on November 8th, you called and told us that it was in foreclosure process and that was taking an effect. So that ends up being like $600 or $300 that in the spirit of policy. I could see that you did inform us that it was changing ownership and then you were in the process of buying it. What I don't like is the fact that you were in there working without a permit and doing stuff that you shouldn't have been doing. And for that, you were double feed on your permit that you did pull after the fact. And the only reason we caught you doing that is because we went there to finalize the inspection relative to the electricity in the garage. So I would offer that would be a compromise in the spirit of policy, that I would, if you will, waive that second half where you did inform us, but that's as far as I would go with it.
And the rest would be between him and the previous owner, because
The rest, I have the ability to waive the rest of that, which I would do in this case, if that's the compromise we've come here to tonight.
Okay. But I'm saying if, actually those fees before are still when you're not the owner yet.
All of them were from before I was the owner.
You're right. You're right.
But they become
But
his.
after he notified,
But
right.
they become his
But
as soon as.
that, what I'm saying is the previous owner's responsible, in a way.
In a way, yes, but it's in foreclosure.
Right, it's in foreclosure. And I can understand you're saying he's got no incentive, but he's still got a responsibility.
Correct.
You know, and I can see he doesn't have the incentive, but the responsibility is still his, and I think the beef is between you and him, than the city in that regard for those. Once you've contacted the city, then you're working with the city. Before that, it's really the former owner, and he's responsible. Yep. Well, yep.
So I have a question. As you were
Thank you.
talking, it sounded like you didn't want to waive the rest because you wanted to give him a consequence for being in the home without permission. I mean, how does that even relate to?
No, the full
Fees.
details of how this, because if you read the notes.
I read it. I
mean, I
No,
didn't,
these-
I didn't know when
Well, I don't know. I
the,
read the stuff that's in here.
No, this is
Okay.
not in there. You might want to take a look at this.
I didn't
I'll
know-
share for a nickel.
I didn't know when the actual house transaction took place. Was it the end of, because you paid through October.
It was
or
November,
you-
November 28th is when I got ownership.
But I didn't know when that actually took place. There was no way for me to find out when you actually were the owner of it. So I presumed that it was in October, because that was the last $150 inspection that was paid, those three. So I figured that's when it happened, but obviously it didn't, it happened later.
And I guess I still have the floor. It wasn't his house, and I assume the letters weren't addressed to him. I mean, you couldn't open someone else's mail. That would have been illegal, right?
That's why I went back to the hospital.
That's why you went back to the hospital. I mean, it sounds like you did everything humanly possible. So I'm just trying to figure out why we're still wanting to charge him. That's just not clear to me. Can anybody help me?
I do too, I have a question too.
Okay.
So on the 8th of November, or the 12th, or whatever it's gonna be, the inspector told you that they were going to email you on what needed to be done. And you didn't receive that email until the 20th of November.
Correct, I called the
So that's
office.
basically 12 days waiting on the city to respond so you can correct. On the 21st, or the 20th, you pulled the permits to get it corrected, and now this has been finalized and it's been corrected.
Well, on the 20th, I got clarification on what needed to be done.
Right.
So then I did it, and I brought the inspector back out on the 28th when it was finished.
Yeah, I understand that, but my issue is there's billing from the 8th until the 19th while he was waiting for the city to respond,
Well, and what the inspector.
which is $300.
Which is what I thought we were waiting, right?
No,
No, he wants.
he wants us to keep the $300.
That
Yeah.
300.
Split it, so it'd be kind of a split.
And that's why my previous conversation was, did you have that email, or does inspections have the email from the 20th of November?
I mean, I didn't keep a copy, but it's still in your email. It can be produced.
And that's where I'm having my issues with this whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And I just feel like, for the best taste of the city, we just waive everything and we just move on. Because there's a lot of delay here. You know, this all started 3 years ago.
It's an unusual circumstance too. The previous owner was in the hospital and, I don't know, it just,
Well, for me, the previous owner is still responsible. I can see he's
Right.
not, doesn't have the incentive,
Right.
but he's
Well-
responsible. But I can, but the response time, why
Too
would
long.
we charge the new owner if he's waiting to hear from us?
I think it's a communication thing, because when the inspector came out on the 12th, he said, yeah, I understand what's happening, this stuff, these charges should stop today. And then when he came out the last time, he gave me a paper, he said, I don't know what happened, but it looks like they continued charging, but you'll have to talk to our legal department on that. He couldn't do anything about it, but, and that's how we arrived here.
So was there a breakdown in communication with staff? Did the inspector not get it to the office here that the fee should stop, or how?
It's hard to explain. On the 12th, they met, according to the notes, you guys met in the field, I'm assuming. I don't know why emailed in the basics were detached. I don't know why that came on the 20th. But you hired an electrician to do it? Or did you do it?
I did, which was why I ended up paying a double fee.
No. You did it before you were legally in the house, right? Because they
Right.
inspected it on the 21st, you own the house on the 28th.
Right, but I did it between the
So
20th.
you did it illegally on your own when a contractor should have done it. See, there's a host of things that are going on here.
But I've been penalized for that already and paying double fees.
You weren't penalized for doing the work, you were penalized for not pulling a permit.
When I wasn't, and, yeah, that's on me, I guess there was a permit existing, but it wasn't in my name.
We're mixing and matching. You were penalized on the permit for the house, because you were doing work in the house. That was double fee.
Right.
The garage was paid by Mr. Bryce, I believe, and that was taken care of. He just had outstanding orders on that original permit from 2016.
Okay, let's, then I didn't pull another permit for the garage, and that's, I guess I say I didn't know, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but you weren't the homeowner. The original homeowner, Mr. Bryce, is the one that could have done the electrical work in his house, not you. In order for you to do the work in the house that you were buying, you would have needed to hire an electrician. And you didn't do that. You did the work yourself.
I didn't know.
That-
I know it doesn't matter, I'm guilty.
See, I'm
of
in a
it.
pickle too. I either enforce the laws or I waive the laws. In my job, I'm supposed to enforce the laws. So now we're here tonight to try and weed through the details that got us here over the course of months.
Yeah, I mean, the inspector came out, he said, I'll send you what needs to be done, he sent me what needed to be done, I did what needed to be done, and then found out later I shouldn't have done what needed to be done myself. So then I hired another electrical contractor later.
For the house?
Yeah, for the garage, to re-inspect the garage and say, it's okay.
Or for the garage too. Okay, good.
So, would there be, if we're looking at exactly what happened, would there be a penalty for doing work without a permit that should be a consequence, as opposed to
We could have. I could have issued a citation for $691 for doing work if he's flipping the house, working in a house that's not yours, and doing work yourself instead of hiring an electrician. I could have went that route. I didn't. I stayed with these fees and what the guys had did up to that point.
Can I ask
You were
one
doing-
question?
oh, Go ahead.
Can I ask one question of the city staff? What is the amount that you want to settle for?
Like I said, based on understanding and in the spirit of the policy, I'd be fine with 300. I'll waive everything from the 8th when you said that you called. There's notes in the file that you called and said it's in foreclosure. You're not supposed to be there. Not supposed to be in there working. That I can live with. 300, I'll be fine. It should make you happy. It makes me okay. I'm fine with that.
Would you be comfortable with that, sir?
We're waiving $400. We're taking off $400.
Would you be comfortable with paying the 300?
I think it's very fair.
Okay.
Oh, group hug. Okay, well, now we need to close the floor before we take any action, unless there's anything else.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor by Alder Steuer, second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? The motion, the floor is now closed. I'll take a motion.
Motion to settle it for $300. That according to city staff, direction of city staff. Both parties are in compliance as far as agreement.
Madison. Governor wants me.
Good stuff.
There's a motion
To 400, to reduce the fees from 700 to
to
400.
300.
To 300.
300.
Can you second on that?
Yep, we
I'll second that.
second it by Alder Steuer. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Thank you. Thanks, staff. Thank you
Very interesting.
for coming in. That's what I love about this job, always learning something. And I think I've been asked, requested, that we...
We're good. I was able to sneak out for a break.
Boy, that was sneaky.
Yes, so we're good. Thank you.
All right. Wow. I wanted a break too.
Do we vote?
We move on to the next one then, as soon as we're ready.
Do we all vote?
We
Didn't
are
we-
ready, number 10.
We voted, didn't we?
Yes, we
Yeah, I thought we voted.
voted to approve the appeal and reduce the re-inspection fees to $300.
Yep. Let us do item 10. Consideration of possible action on an appeal by Shua Lee to the denial of his operator's license staff.
Yes, staff recommends denial of this appeal based on several prior felony and misdemeanor convictions which taken together substantially relate to the license activity as they indicate a propensity for repeated criminal behavior and disqualify the appellant as a habitual law offender under 125.04.
Please concur.
Please concur. So there's someone here for this?
Motion open the floor.
Motion open the floor by Alder Steuer. Seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Floor is now open. Please come up. Please state your name and address. If you haven't filled out one of those forms, fill them out before you go, please.
636 Erie Road.
Okay.
I see you guys I've learned a lot just being in this room.
So have we.
I'm the last one. Yeah,
Yeah, you were here first.
yeah, and I was here first. That's good. Shua Lee, I'm the father of 2 kids. It's a part-time job. Started there as a pure discount liquor for about 4 months. It is one part-time job that I do. I also work for Red Bull, as work for work. Also a full-time student at NWTC. So kind of the incidents, the felonies, they're all when I was younger. I'm turning 34 this month, and I mean, it's an awesome job. I love the job. The job has opened up my eyes to a lot of things. So I really want to keep the job. So
What are you going to school for?
I'm going for digital media technology. So I'm going for I sing, produce my own music. So like audio engineering, so recording.
How far along are you?
This is my first semester, passed it, good to go, and looking forward to going back again. Right? So, yeah.
Good.
2011 was the probation violation to the felony?
Yes, it was a probation violation for a felony.
Can you tell us?
What felony, I do not know. That does not come up on the...
A lot of things there, being young and dumb and making bad choices, being when you don't know really direction, friends and whatnot. It's probably the Grand Theft Auto, repeated whatnot. Some cases, to me, lack of evidence, but yeah, got in trouble. Being young, you took the first plea and deal you could take, I guess.
But did you do it?
That's the whole thing, I'm gonna be quiet.
Okay, yeah. All right.
I don't know, a lot of this happened 2003, 2004, we're talking 16 years.
How old are your children?
I got a 10-year-old and a 2, and a 5-year-old.
10 and 5.
So,
I got one quick question.
Certainly.
The gentleman, do you have any violations as far as Brown County outstanding warrants or any unpaid balances? in Brown County?
I do not have any warrants. I called every county just to make sure. It's kind of weird. One day I got pulled over taking my wife to work, and I guess there's a lot of show-lees. I ended up getting locked up, and I was like, what the heck is going on? They're like, yeah, you're going to jail for $1,000 since 2004. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So since that day, I got bailed out from my boss. I paid him back off, and I was like, I called every county I stayed in. I was in Sheboygan.
I was gonna ask.
When I got out, stayed with my sister there, found full-time employment, moved back to Green Bay, found full-time employment right away too, lived with my parents, so, yeah, I got married, yeah, right away. So.
That's all the questions I have then. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have right now.
I had something and I forgot.
But you mentioned Alder Vanderleest, you talked about Brown County, but I noticed Sheboygan County too. You said you contacted all the other
I
counties.
contacted every
Yeah,
county I
guess that
stayed
was-
in,
yeah.
so, yeah, it was
So
just.
you stayed in Sheboygan as well as Brown and
Yeah, just those two. I've called every county, Schwabenand, even Bellevue, even just the small. Yeah, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so, but I mean, working at the job, I only work there 2 days out of the week, Thursdays and Fridays. My other job is Red Bull. I'm a vendor through them, so yeah, I work those 2 jobs and go to school, so it's only 2 days.
Right. Like I said, if you get it.
Any
I'm
other
good-
questions?
I'm good right now.
Anything else you care to add?
No, that is it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor by Alder Steuer. Second by Alder Vanderleest. Just before anything, staff, when you do a record, does that, you include the county, right?
The police department does the background check,
Yeah.
and then we just check CCAP, which should include all counties.
Yeah, so if, you'll be showing up on here.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. That's fine.
He is correct. When I looked today, there are quite a few Shuali just in the greater Green Bay area.
Can I say something? That I found out later when I got pulled over, they said, I asked the officer, I said, hey, what's the birthday on there? And they said, January something, 1954. And I said, hey, look at me.
You age well, man.
That's what I said. I was like,
Yeah.
"That's a secret.
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm drinking Peter Pan water or something. And I was like, 54? I'm like, I'm going to jail for this? They're like, I have to take you in. So I didn't argue or anything. I'm just like, I'm going. Yeah.
But you don't have to pay that then, right?
No.
Good.
Okay.
Just check. All right.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to
We
approve.
still need to vote on, to close the floor.
Oh, yeah, so, yeah,
Motion
motion to close the floor. Oh, no, we closed it.
Yep.
We just let him speak again, but without opening it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that
Technically,
was-
we should have opened it again
Okay.
quickly, but we didn't.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So we did close, and now we are on a.
So now we can motion?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder Steuer. Seconded by Alder Stevens. Even Stevens says yes. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. It'll go to council next Tuesday. Good luck.
Is that it? Good to go?
Yep,
Good to go?
Good to go.
Thank
Good to
you,
go.
guys.
Ready for informational. We're moving on to informational.
Not yet. I
Oh.
think we have item 11. which is
Oh,
all
Oh,
the-
yeah, how did I get, my cursor dropped. You know what? Before we take up that item, I want a 5-minute recess for myself. No one else needs one.
I do too. I mean, I can hang, but
Okay, do we need to vote on that, or motion to recess
Yes.
5 minutes?
You can
5 minutes.
just call it recess.
I'm calling a recess, 5 minutes. 6 minutes.
That's good. Thank you.
The race is on.
And I said, well, Mr. Tyrion, Mr. Tyrion inspected it,
Steve Turner.
and he didn't put it down that he finalized it, and they had to come back out and inspect. I said, come on, then inspect. But in other words,
It's not a perfect science.
no, it's not. So I just said to him, I said, well, because we put a break room in, and we put in some, it's in the family pet food center. So we put in some little ramps, and we cut the concrete from one building to the other. And they said, we haven't checked on that. I said, well, then come on over.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
For some reason,
It
this,
should be in your mailbox. It's all in my mailbox.
but I'm looking at this in here. They had the leadership council and the third, I don't think they met, did they? This is Riverside Ball. I don't know.
Huh.
I'll have to talk to
We are
someone about that.
recording, should I pause?
You know, we should get going here.
Yep.
All right. Ready?
Cost $5,000 to take up the square feet. And they had a hard, but you got a company that polish it all, every down to concrete. It costs $25 to put the floor over. You know, that's, but they called me, and they said they hadn't been fined that 3 years ago. So they're still.
Oh, yeah.
They're,
And not just on my own.
We are recording, we're good to go whenever.
Okay,
okay, and showing it.
That's how it goes. That's 3 years.
All right.
So we're on number 11.
we are back in session. Good morning. We are on number 11, discussion on a request by Alder Weary stating review with possible action on ordinance 27.203, regulation of noise for the purpose of amending with weekend hours, new daytime 0900 to 2000, previously discussed at the November 26, 2018 Protection and Policy meeting. Staff?
Yes, so Alderman Weary did email the committee, and I printed out a copy of that email with his proposed changes.
What 2000 hours is 8 p.m. I
8
believe his
Right.
intention is 10 p.m., 2200 hours.
Yes,
Yeah, I think he got those.
clarified
His
that.
communication is off from what he really wants to
Correct.
do, which
Yes.
has caused a bit of a brouhaha.
yes. So he
So-
delineated out what he's looking to make changes to
Bless you.
the current ordinance. And so I printed off a copy of those proposed changes, because he was not able to attend tonight's meeting to present it to the committee.
Right.
Madam, do you have an extra one? Use me.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's setting up
Nickel.
separate hours, daytime hours, and separate nighttime hours for Monday through Friday versus Saturday through Sunday. And preventing construction work from being considered presumed reasonable noise Monday through Saturday, and just limiting it to daytime hours, and preventing waste collection being presumed reasonable Monday through Friday, except, or preventing it from being done in nighttime hours, except in residential areas. I believe, I'm not sure if PD has any input at this point. Department of Public Works will want to have some input and some time to review this. ACA Johnson did contact Steve, Director Grenier, so he will prepare some statements and some information and possibly present that to the committee at the next meeting. So our recommendation at this point would be to just refer to staff to kind of gather input from other applicable departments and then present findings to the committee at the next meeting.
PD have anything now that they care to share?
Sorry, no concurring.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
The
Just-
ones in yellow here is what he wants the changes to?
Yeah, those are the changes he's
Yes.
looking at, yeah.
Does this really apply to snowblowers?
Oh, my God.
Pardon?
There are certain activities that are presumed to be reasonable.
Right, I think he's looking at construction mostly.
Right.
Construction, yeah, snowball.
He's trying to be constructive.
Right, the changes could very well, very much impact Department of Public Works.
Right.
My limited understanding is that they do sometimes do waste collection in off hours if there's inclement weather that prevents them from collecting at a normal time, or if there's a holiday. Same thing with construction, because construction work applies to public works projects as well, not just private construction companies. So, but I don't want to speak for Director Grenier. He's going to
Right.
compile all that information and present it to the
Right.
committee at the next meeting.
But this would apply to private as well?
Yes,
right?
it would apply to private, but
Which
also
it'd be
city
good to maybe
services
get,
as well.
I don't know how we reach
Well-
out to private, but I would like to know how this is going to affect them. if
You know,
this
most,
rate,
most contractors, they start at 6 in the morning in the summertime just to get a good start on things, and they might work from 6 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They'll work a 10-hour day. And I think that, this in other words, 9 o'clock, boy, they got they want to have, 1/3 of their day in at 9 o'clock. So I think these hours are, if it's into yellow here, that's pretty late starts. I think, the public, in other words, the Green Bay Department of Public Works, and so, same way with the county, by, 7 o'clock, they're already rolling.
It would affect the county as well, wouldn't it?
It would affect all, it would affect public utilities.
Yeah,
So it would be
I
county
think they
public
better do
works,
more homework here.
city public works as well.
Yeah, definitely.
More homework.
Yeah. If referring to staff, if also Director Grenier could reach out to any businesses he's familiar with that might be impacted by this, if he could get their opinions, and also the county, that'd be good. Not only for the city, but be good.
So would that be an INS as well, or just their input into this committee?
Input into this committee.
Just this committee.
Correct.
Yeah, we're setting the policy.
All right.
Wisconsin Public Service also starts, like, they're already on the job at 7, when they're changing poles and,
Mhm.
digging, things like that, gas.
I've heard 7, but 6, usually I haven't seen that.
Well, our ordinance starts at 7 right now.
I think they may want to just leave that ordinance alone.
But if we bump it up,
That'll change it.
yeah.
Okay, well, make a
Motion
motion to
refer-
refer back to staff.
Yep, motion to refer to staff by Alder Steuer, second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That is referred to staff. And we are now on to informational.
Yes, 1 second.
Mhm.
I have to get that. Yes.
All right. Number 1, informational liquor violation report from the police department for January 7th, 2019.
As you received, we had no liquor violations from October 22nd through January 7th. We did cite an owner of a bar for disorderly conduct, and also did a property referral to him based on actions that were happening at his establishment, or actually behind his establishment.
Where was that again?
1906 Las Brisas.
Oh.
We had complaints, he has like a garage kind of behind that he was having functions at, that was being loud and disruptive to the neighborhood. So we were talking to him about that, and he wasn't going along with, he got a couple warnings at first that you can't do that, so they finally cited him and did a property referral.
No more garage bands, man. Those days are gone.
Except
Man,
you guys do that.
those are the days. Those are the days. Greg, any questions or anything, comments for the? Thank you very much, sir. Well
We'll
done.
make a motion to receive and place on file.
Motion to receive and place on file by Alder Steuer. Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That is received and placed on file.
He's an English teacher.
Number 2.
Special ed. Report from the Water Utility Department regarding the lead pipe removal project. They've sent, we all got an email on that, right? I mean, I got one.
Yeah, we got one.
I don't know if they really need to report it. We got it in, do we need to put that in the record at all as email? or-
Yes, because I think the report is part of the packet, so it would just be
Oh.
a motion to receive and place on file.
Place on file, right?
Place on file.
Yep. By motion to receive and place on file by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor of that? Aye. Opposed? It is on file. We have nothing for public hearings.
Nope.
Well,
And we are on adjournment.
I'll take a motion
Motion
to
to-
adjourn
motion to
by Alder
adjourn.
Stoyer, seconded by Alder Stevens. All in favor of that? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Make sure you sign out before you log out, right?
Leave meeting.
Yeah, over here. Yep, by your name.